Hello class, my name is Diana Livingston, and this is Speech 7 for Speech class at L-Tri-C. Now when I saw our assignment and saw to change the world, how would I do it? Well, I thought, why would I just change the world? Why not keep it closer to home and more personal for me? That way I can get things done. Well, if I could change my community, and what would I do? It would be concerning the Lehigh Gap Nature Center. Now, why is the Lehigh Gap Nature Center so important to me? Because myself, my friends, our youth groups, and other groups in the community, we all pitch in and help clean up, we run workshops, things of that nature. The Gap Center teaches adults and children alike about the environment, how it affects us, and how we affect the environment. So I think it's something very important to work at and to help keep preserved. Now, for those of you who have never been up to the Gap Center before, let me clue you in a couple things. The Gap Center is situated on the direct side of a mountain. This makes it very dangerous because if someone falls, you're going to fall right down. Especially if it's on the side of a trail, you're going to go down half the side of a mountain if you have enough force, and that could be really dangerous to people. The second point is that if you've noticed, and for those of you who haven't, I'm letting you know, there is construction, and there has been for the past 2 years. Now this construction has been making additions onto the Gap Center itself and just trying to clean up like all the larger rocks and the fallen trees and things of that nature. However, one thing I noticed when I was up there last running a workshop was that there are a lot of loose stones, and now the possibility of people falling has risen even greater. When I was running our last workshop with myself and our youth group, we're teaching about trees and how the different trees in Pennsylvania are important for certain things and what they're used for. Now, what I noticed from our class that we were teaching, many of them weren't very old, nor did they look like they had disabilities. There was a range, probably from the ages 40 to 50, which I would guess are the parents of the group, and then we had kids, about ages 8 to about 15. I don't know where the other age groups were. Where are you guys? I know that many of you in class do not have kids, but for those of you who do, this topic should be especially personal because we want them to learn and experience as much as they can. Well, while we were teaching our workshop, I actually noticed there were about 2 elderly women there, and that's it, as far as the elderly people go. And I asked her, how did you like the workshop? And she said, it's wonderful. We had fun, and it was nice to make because we had them make wreaths. But the thing she said to me was, it's very dangerous to walk here. There aren't very good trails to walk on, and I could have possibly fallen and hurt myself. That's when I noticed, they need handicap accessible trails up there. So that's why my goal is to put accessible trails and ramps up the Gap Center. Now the National Center on Accessibility says that an accessible trail is, quote, is accessible to and usable by people with disabilities. Now many of you don't know this, but I do have a physical disability. It's cerebral palsy, and it affects the way that I walk. Every 2 years or so, I have a surgery reconstructing my legs and things like that. It also keeps me in a wheelchair for about 6 months. It's a very long time, and no, I'm not very patient with the people around me, and it creates problems here at home. Now if you'll notice, I chose to do this speech outside because I wanted to show you. This is my house and the ramp that my mother installed special so that I wouldn't have any problems with my wheelchair. My room is also on the bottom floor of our house, making things easy for me. I wanted that kind of accessibility up at the Gap Center. Now, when I was looking online, I saw that Howard Chambers, he went to Spain 2 years ago and visited the Alhambra. I was very excited to learn this because I had also visited the Alhambra, but that was about 3 years ago. Now the Alhambra is a palace in Spain that many people couldn't go to before because they didn't have the access for handicapped or disabled people. He wrote that not only did they install ramps and handicap accesses for the trails and things like that, but they also had specials for people with hearing disabilities and things of that nature. It helped me realize that if we make the small communities aware of what people with disabilities have to go through, it'll get larger, and more people will join to help out and try to make things easier. Trail Etiquette and Safety, which was a manual that I found online, says one common sense thing that I thought was important. We have, in our community, not very many disabled people who will venture out of their homes. But they told us online in this manual that if you see a person with a disability or physical handicap, don't try and run next to them or get in their way. The courteous thing is to step out of the way. That way, sometimes if you're in a wheelchair, and I know this by personal experience, I promise, that when you're trying to drive, if someone's running up behind you or next to you, sometimes you're going to run into problems because I can't always control it. It's very hard. Now, Maria Trombetta, she visited Vermont 2 years ago and saw the Appalachian Trail. And she had said in her article that she posted in a magazine that there were no trails that handicapped people could visit. And I thought this was just like our situation here. She actually revisited a little while ago and saw that they had made the trails wider and more easily accessible. Now the Gap Center, this would be perfect for people if we made those trails accessible for everyone. Now that's my problem and the solution I put to it. I find this personal because not only do I have the disability, but I do fall a lot. This is my brace that I wear there. I wear it when I'm walking, and if I don't wear it, I fall a lot. And I'm sure many people in this community, myself included, would benefit from having trails up at the Lehigh Gap Nature Center. So hopefully if you get a chance, go visit and maybe let me know what you think, because I plan to get something done up there and actually try and help people. Thanks so much.